The Hills are alive with The Sound of Music coming to the Wharton Center in February. And joining Brandy and I in the studio today is Bob Hoffman from the Wharton Center. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks for having me. You know you want to sing it.
Oh my God.
The Hills are alive
with the sound of music.
You're good.
See, she said that if she sang, they would turn the channel, but I disagree.
You're good.
I love The Sound of Music, Bob.
Wow.
I have to admit, I've never seen the movie all the way through.
Really?
How can you not?
I know the songs.
Yes.
I just don't think I've seen the whole
Well,
thing.
then you got to come to Wharton Center to
Yes.
see the Broadway show, February 9th through the 14th. And it's amazing. Well, so the movie is last year, 2015, marked the 50th anniversary of the movie. But get this, 5 years before that, the original Broadway show appeared. So there was a Broadway show before the movie. So now, fast forward 55 years, we got a new Sound of Music coming out, and it's coming to Wharton Center.
Wow. And like, you and I talked about the shows earlier this year.
Yeah.
You called it Broadway Bonanza. So Broadway shows have gone crazy at the Wharton Center this year, and Sound of Music is one of the bigger shows that most people know about.
I think it's one of those shows that really hit every demographic, right? So if you're young, you know about it, and if you're old like me, you know about it too. So
I wouldn't say you're old, Bob.
I'm just kidding.
Are a few of our favorite things going to be in the show, Bob?
Like raindrops on roses and
whiskers
whiskers on
kittens.
You just wanted me to set you up to sing.
sing.
Oh my God. We can just play on words all show.
Tied up with strings.
These are a few of my favorite things.
Everyone at home
Yes.
knows this too.
Everyone
They're all
knows
singing it.
these.
Yeah, so
It
it's
could
gonna,
be
it's
a
great
huge
show.
sing-along at the Wharton Center. It could be.
We could all sing.
I bet you that they would love that, honestly. I'm sure there's going to be some people singing. So
I'm going to be singing in my head for certain.
in your head. I'm pretty sure you're gonna try to sing out loud. No,
I don't want everyone to leave the Wharton
gosh.
Center. I will keep it in my head.
You're
Trust
good.
me.
So you said it's a new show of The Sound of Music.
Yeah.
What's different from previous?
So it's up to today's standards. It's you know, the story's the same, the music's going to be the same, but it's changed a little bit. The technology's different than today. Kirsten Anderson is playing the lead of Maria. She's actually a sophomore at Pace University in New York when she was offered this opportunity. So she's young and she's vibrant, and when Jack O'Brien, the producer and director, saw her and heard her sing, he was like, I've got to have her, and her voice is just incredible. I can't even, you've just got to see it. It's so good.
With songs they have sung for 1,000 years, the hills fill my heart with the sound of music. My heart wants to sing every song it hears.
The other stars that are in here, this is kind of a really star-studded cast. Ashley Brown, who was in Mary Poppins, she originated the role of Mary Poppins on Broadway, is in this. We've got Ben Davis, who you've probably heard of before. He was in Les Miserables, is playing in this one, Captain George Von Trapp.
Okay.
So, and then a host of other top Broadway performers, including a lot of people from Michigan, actually, which is interesting.
I
Yeah.
always like it when I see that in the playbill.
There is something about Michigan and New York and Broadway. There are absolutely a ton of people. In fact, on Broadway, they call it the Michigan Mafia because there's so many people.
Really?
There's so many people in Broadway shows from Michigan.
What are we still doing here, Bob?
Hello.
Get on there.
Bye.
Singing a few of our favorite things.
So Bob, how many times have you seen The Sound of Music?
I've not seen the Broadway show ever. In fact, I've not even seen this show. So I'm going to be seeing it the first time when it comes to Wharton Center. The film version, when I was young, don't you remember? Like it came on every year.
Yeah,
like,
it did.
You know, it was like The Wizard of Oz. It would just come on and you'd watch it.
Right.
So I can't even tell you how many times. I have to say it has been a while.
Okay.
I haven't seen
I
it in a long
probably
time.
watch it every year.
Do you?
Really?
Oh yeah, there's not a year that
There's
goes by.
something about it that's just
Yeah.
part of our culture, part of our DNA. I think it's a fun show.
There's something uplifting
Yes.
about it. This family that's struggling. Not only is the family struggling, but then you have the whole dynamic of the culture and what's happening in the culture.
Yep.
And I think all of us can resonate with that side of things. So that you have the family we can all resonate with, the culture, what's happening in society, and then her personal struggle, Julie Andrews' personal struggle herself with who she wants to be. I mean, who hasn't struggled with, is this who I'm supposed to be? Is this who I want to be? Who do I want to be? And we see that in ourselves. And so these songs really come alive, and the whole dating, and when you're a teenager and you want to date the boy, and so all of these things.
You're describing it exactly how Jack O'Brien.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he talks about that actually. I've got a quote for you, which is really good, and I want to find it because he talks about this, and it's interesting. You described it so well. He said, you can do one of two things when you produce a show. You can replicate it or you can create. If you replicate, you're doing what you're told to do. If you create, you're putting something of yourself into it. You're making it yours. And I think a good director always tries to get the actor or designer to do their best work as if it's their work. Wow. But when you talk about that and you see that, because of what we're going through today, I mean, and history is a way of repeating itself.
Yeah.
And there's so many, you know, actors have this tendency to be in a show and become all-encompassing and can really play the part better because of their own experiences. And we all have things that we go through all the time. So.
Yeah, where we're really in character.
Yeah.
With a certain role at a period of our lives. And we don't always carry all of those roles out our entire lives. You go through a period of them. And you can see that in these different stages of The Sound of Music, the different stages of their lives, from dating to marriage to divorce to career choice to the people who are helping them escape. And it really is. I think that's probably one of the reasons why The Sound of Music is my favorite.
Going on 17, I know that I'm naive. Fellows I meet may tell me I'm sweet, and willingly I believe. I am 16, going on 17, innocent as a rose. Bachelor dandies, drinkers of brandies, what do I know of those?
To go on with what he says, because I think this is really great. He says to tell a story to each other over and over again. It's important because our world is always in peril. There's always something going on. It may not be the same thing, but there's always something going on in the world. And we take courage from the success of others and learn how to behave in difficult circumstances. So it's a great value what's happening. The actors and actresses can take part in that and relive it on stage. And then as an audience member, you're taking something from that because you can relate it to your own life.
Always inspirational, The Sound of Music.
And what I was going to add, think about how many different productions there have been of The Sound of Music, from like local theaters to high schools, because I'm thinking back when I was in high school, I'm sure they did The Sound of Music. So everyone puts their own stamp on it as it goes.
So this one's stripped down to the original production,
Okay.
55 years ago, stripped down to the original production, but set really for today's audience.
Okay.
So
Well,
I'm excited. You guys are going to come, right?
Yes.
Oh, totally.
Yes,
I'm going to
okay.
be there.
Of course.
Here's something I haven't been to at the Wharton Center yet that's coming up. An orchestra concert.
Well,
I
you
haven't
gotta
been to one
come.
yet,
Well,
and I do need to go to one.
Well, let me tell you the one that you want to see. It's coming up on, let's see, Wednesday, February 17th. The Hollywood Concert Orchestra, which is so cool because you remember when you watch Titanic or Raiders of the Lost Ark or, oh my gosh, Mission Impossible, E.T., the soundtracks of those, you sort of know that music because it's related to the show. So the Hollywood Concert Orchestra is doing a night at the Oscars playing the music from those iconic films. And in the background, they're going to actually be playing some of the music. So 007, you know, James Bond.
That's very cool.
It'll be fun. It'll be interesting. And I'm really excited about that one too. So
talk about music for today. You were talking about that with Sound of Music.
Yeah.
That's also for this as well.
Absolutely.
I mean, tying in those movie themes.
The Wizard of Oz. You know all the music from it, but hearing there's something that stirs inside your soul when you hear those things, right? It makes you want to get up and
there's so many trivia games now to where it's like, name that tune or what movie did that come
Yeah.
from? We could just do that all night at the
Well,
night
come
of
to
the
Wharton Center and practice your trivia.
Yes.
February
Absolutely.
17th for a night of at the Oscars with the Hollywood Concert Orchestra.
And then also coming up in February is an evening with Savion Glover and Jack
DeJohnette.
DeJohnette.
So Savion Glover, bringing the noise, bringing the funk, famous choreographer.
Yes.
has
You're looking at
been
me.
in-
I'm
well,
a
I know
dancer.
that
Yes.
you are. You should talk about this
Yes.
because you're a big.
Famous tap dancer, like unbelievable.
So you know who this is.
I've seen things on TV, on YouTube. You know, you can Google him and find all kinds of stuff. He's famous.
Okay.
And
So-
he does a great job. I mean, he's such an amazing artist. And so he's being paired with Jack DeJohnette, who is from Chicago, has put out 30 different albums in his career, and is just a very famous percussionist. He's recorded with saxophonist John Coltrane, Miles Davis. So the two of them are coming together. And I think it's going to be a really fun evening.
Well, if you've
part
ever
of the
seen,
dance series.
If you've ever seen tap, tap is all about the rhythms and the intricate, like there's different noises that happen with tap shoes. So pairing that with percussion, you're going to get, I'm really excited about this one because you're going to get the beats on both ends, from the shoes to the drumstick. So it's going to be really interesting.
So I
think
I need to
Yes.
get with the new ages
Oh, yeah,
because
you gotta go
the last
see
time
it.
I saw tap was
Oh.
was Sammy Davis Jr. He did tap, right?
He did
Yes.
tap.
And
He's
Fred
famous,
and
too.
Fred Astaire. That's the last
Oh.
time I've
Oh my gosh.
watched any kind of tap dancing.
Wow. Well, you got to get.
So this show is for someone like me who really needs to get with the times.
Yes, I mean,
Yeah.
like with percussion, it's going to be like, tap has
There's
evolved.
something about Savion Glover. He makes it look really easy. Like he makes it look like you could do it. You know, I mean, not you, me.
So when people
like
walk-
all of us could do it. You know.
So
People
you go
walk out of
home
the
and you
Wharton
start
Center.
doing
Yeah,
it in your
right.
I was just going to say, tap on your way back to your car from
right.
seeing the
Right.
show.
So it's gonna be good. And he hasn't been there a long time. Bringing the Noise, Bringing the Funk was here. Gosh, 10 years ago maybe.
Oh,
It's been
wow.
a long time. So
Well, I've never seen him. I'm very excited to go see this.
yeah.
Something I can take my grandson to is coming up. Peter Rabbit Tales.
150 years ago, Beatrix Potter was around. So she's celebrating her 150th birthday.
Wow.
Well, she's not around anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But we're celebrating her
Yes.
birthday by bringing in Peter Rabbit Tales. And remember this classic children's story when you were young. So looking forward to that.
That little
And that-
mischievous rabbit going
Oh my
in and
God.
yeah.
Yes.
going under the fence.
Does Ashton like rabbits? Will he
Ashton-
really enjoy this?
Ashton, well, I think like most kids his age, and probably even adults, we all love animals, don't we?
Yes.
We all love animal stories, and Ashton loves all animals, I think.
Ashton's your grandson?
Ashton's
Yeah.
my
I can't
grandson.
even get over you have a grandson, first of all. Like, that's just...
So he's 3, and I see that the show
3 and up.
is recommended for 3 and
Yeah.
3 and up.
Yep.
And so he's probably at this perfect age to take him to a Wharton Center type of show.
Well, and it's a perfect opportunity for grandparents to take their grandchildren or parents to take their children and introduce them to a tale that you've probably read the book to or read the book, and just an opportunity for you to bond and for you, honestly, to relive those stories. I mean, I don't care how old you are, you know, seeing something like that brings you right back to when you were a kid and the innocence and the fun of the story and the tales of Peter Rabbit and the mischief that he gets into, escaping from all the people that want to do him harm, right?
Although I don't want to give my grandson any ideas
No.
about being mischievous.
Oh, okay.
But it's kind of
Mr.
perfect
McGregor,
timing.
remember him?
Oh, yes, yes. It's kind of perfect timing with springtime is coming up. The show's on February 27th.
Yeah.
So you have time to actually start reading those books.
Everyone's going to want a bunny.
Oh, right.
Everyone's
Nobody's.
Everyone's gonna want a real bunny.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Don't do it.
No, but introducing young kids to performing arts is really important too. And I know you have a program at the Wharton Center that
The
seeks
MSU
for,
Federal Credit Union Institute for Arts and Creativity has so many projects where we're reaching out into schools and working with schools. We have a Disney project where Disney's actually working with local schools to produce shortened versions of Broadway shows.
Wow.
And then actually working with the kids and then taking that and they're going to perform at Wharton Center. But arts are so important in everyone's lives. And I think that sometimes we forget about how important it is to be exposed to something that really makes your mind wonder and think and imagine. Sometimes we're just so stuck in our little ways, and video games are great, and you know, all the technology is great, but when you can tap in to the biggest computer out there, which is your brain, and have the opportunity to dream and the opportunity to experience theater, something happens to you that changes lives. And that's what the Institute does. I think the Institute changes lives. It creates kids or gives kids an opportunity to think of new things. And do I have time to tell a story real quick?
Yeah, sure, please.
So we have Act 1 docents which go into classrooms and they work with kids and talk about a show that's coming, like Peter Rabbit, before it comes, and the kids will study it and they'll learn about it, and then they'll go to the Wharton Center to see it. It's part of our school series. Well, one of our docents went into a classroom and one little boy was talking the whole time, so the teacher sent him out into the hall. And afterwards, the docent said, well, can I talk to this little guy? And he said to the kid, he said, are you not interested in theater? And he's like, not at all. I don't care about it. It was really, you know, and so.
Hey, at least he's honest.
Right, very good, right? So the docent said, well, what are you interested in? And he goes, I'm interested in building. I want to be in the construction business like my dad. And he's like, well, did you know that construction is really very involved in theater? And the kid
somebody
said,
has to construct all the sets.
what do you
right?
mean?
Yeah.
So he said, well, we have these elaborate sets that need to be built. And he's like, would you like to see one? So at their school visit, he took this kid on the stage and showed him the set.
Wow.
And the little kid was totally enamored because he had never realized.
His eyes were open to something
Absolutely. So
totally
he
new.
left saying to our docent, I want to build sets.
Oh, that's
Wow.
great.
That's what I want to do when I grow up. So theater
That's very
has a
cool.
way of getting in every fabric of life. I mean, even if you don't like what's on stage, there are other things. There's the light operator, there's the
music.
sound technician. There's so many aspects. There's a public
Costumes.
relations person.
That's right, I was
There's
just gonna
costumes.
costumes.
There's
That's right.
marketing.
Yeah.
I mean, there's so much that goes into putting on a production anywhere.
And the magical moment for me about going to these is seeing all of that come together.
I thought it was seeing me.
and you too, and seeing you there. You know, I don't have to do anything. I can rest my mind and go see, you know, because we have to be creative in our
Right.
jobs, the programs that we bring to HOMTV, and while it's not nearly as creative
As like a Broadway
as
show.
a Broadway musical, it's nice to be able to go and relax and see creativity and music come alive on stage.
You know, I compare it to, but only better, when you go to see a movie, a really good movie, sometimes you can escape into the movie.
Yes.
But when you look at a movie, when you're watching a movie, sometimes you're distracted and you're looking around. Whenever I see a live Broadway show, I'm never distracted, or a live show, I'm never distracted. I feel like I'm really part of them. I almost feel like I'm dancing on stage with them or singing on stage, or they're looking at me like I'm part of the act. And there's something about the power of theater that does that.
So for me, it's hard for me to rest my brain. And so I have to, in the beginning, no matter if I'm at a musical, at the Wharton Center or wherever it is I'm at, I really have to focus my brain in the beginning. But once I'm there, I am involved in the stage and what's
Meditation.
happening. Yeah, yeah, I need that.
Well, I think the excitement, I grew up going to shows and being in high school theater and choreographing dances and just being, I think the excitement build up, because I've seen shows in New York and like Mamma Mia is like one of my favorites. So being excited
Love
to
Mamma
see
Mia.
this great production, I don't think I need to rest my mind at all. I'm super excited about it. And then one of my favorite parts is, of course, the dancing, but the transitions between sets.
Yeah.
I think
Yes.
some of these shows they go from one set to
The
the other
magic
are
in
so
a
cool.
second, or the transition of the clothing.
Oh, yes.
How they
Especially
do
if
it.
you know a storyline, how are they going, like The Lion King, how are they going to do that?
I don't know.
Right.
And how are they going
Yes.
to transition the set into the other set? Or,
Yes.
you know, how are they going to build that? How are they going to make that music, like all that ABBA music, come alive on
Yes.
stage? What are
Yeah.
they going to do that?
How do they do that? I know.
It's amazing.
It's interesting that you talk about your experience growing up and being into theater and loving theater. And for me growing up, honestly, my uncle was a drama teacher. And I remember being little and going to the shows. But like the little kid that I talked about, I never was that interested in it. It never really grabbed me until I was an adult and I started going. And I remember when I worked at Wharton Center, and I've told you this story before, I saw Hubbard Street Dance Chicago.
Oh, they're
And
fantastic.
I love them, but it was one of those days where I came in at 8 o'clock in the morning, and I had to work till 11 o'clock at night, basically, because they were there that night, and I was so tired, and I was thinking, oh, I just want to go home. I'm hungry. I just want to go home, you know, and immediately the stage lights came on, and these dancers came out, and they did this amazing dance by choreographer Ohad Naharin. And it took my breath away. Like, I absolutely was floored. I'd never experienced anything like that before. And so it was like, and before people had talked to me about the power of theater and the power of magic. And, you know, when you're in PR, you know those keywords. But it really hit me for the first time, like, oh my God, this is what they're talking about. It's amazing. And I thought that I would never like dance. I was like, I'm not a dance guy. You know, I probably wouldn't like that. Love it. Now, dance is my favorite thing to
And sometimes
experience.
those shows that you're not really excited about, like I had tickets to see Memphis or Rock of Ages. Turns out I absolutely love them.
Memphis
Like,
was
surprised
one that
me.
was really surprising,
Yes.
wasn't it?
Yes, that
Totally.
was a great show. And
So-
so it's like, you got to take a chance every once in a
You
while.
do.
You don't always need to go to the
Take a
ones you
chance
know.
on Mamma
See, we
Mia.
could just
Yeah, we could
sing
just
all day.
Everything. Well, anyways, there's so much coming at Wharton Center.
Yeah,
And,
there is. We're excited.
It's
We're excited to
it's
see
an
what's
exciting
coming.
season. So whartoncenter.com, 1-800-WHARTON,
All
or
the
just
ticket.
come into Wharton Center and you know, buy your tickets. Or think about supporting Wharton Center too. You know, in any way that you can. Bringing kids to the theater is important, or bringing your adults.
Yes.
I'm always trying to pick out shows that I know are going to be a turn on for my husband or the other boys in my household. You know, I feel it's somewhat more of a challenge for them because they're really into sports, not so much into theater. And so I'll try to pick the Blue Man Group or something that I know that will resonate with them, Rock of Ages, or Al really enjoyed Mamma Mia.
Yes.
So I know there are certain shows that I'm picking out that I can take
Well,
my
when
boys.
you think about sports and you think about Broadway shows, I mean, I don't think there's anything more athletic than
Oh my
being on the
gosh.
stage
Right.
in a show. They're going 2 hours, and oftentimes some of them don't leave the stage. I mean, they're on for 2 hours. Now, when you watch a football game or something, they're kind of in and out. I'm not saying it's not physical, but
No.
there
Singing
is
and dancing together is
there
tough.
is something very athletic about
Yes.
dance and theater, and so
Well,
getting
I'll
them
never
to
forget
appreciate that.
Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood. Walter Payton appeared on one of the episodes, and he took ballet classes.
Okay.
So
Yes.
if you
a
don't
lot
know
of-
who Walter Payton is, one of the all-time famous, best wide receivers ever in football, right?
Well, they
a lot
have.
of athletes take
I was going to say,
classes.
yeah, a lot of athletes will take ballet classes just for the training and the stability and the core work that really there's so much. I mean, these guys that come in for these Broadway shows or any show, they're just so built. It's like, oh my gosh.
I know.
Well, you said
I
taking
feel like
your-
a slug when I'm
Yeah.
sitting there
Taking
watching
your
them
s-
performing on stage.
You're
I think
like-
I'm gonna go home, and I go home and I try to do one of those plies, and
Yeah.
I kind of
My
wish I was
plies
at your
is
house.
jumping on the couch.
and pulling something while I'm at it.
Well, you were saying that you find shows that you can take your sons to and
Yeah.
your husband to. My parents crack me up because I'll be like, oh, we have a show at the Wharton Center because we have season tickets. And they're like, my mom's like, oh, you're so worldly. And I was like, okay, Mom. But I've been taking them to a couple. So we saw Dirty Dancing. They're coming to see Motown. And river dance. So excited.
All shows that are coming up that we're going to
Yes.
talk about probably next month.
Yes.
right?
Yep, we'll talk about in a different show.
But
I love how you say worldly, because you know what? You can see the world at Wharton Center. Really, it's true. I mean, we get acts from across the globe. Not only acts, but the world top acts. Zakar Hussain is coming, who is, I mean, extremely famous Indian who's coming to Wharton Center. I mean, we just get so many incredible people and shows. And I love, I don't know which one of you said it, but you said to experience something that you may not be familiar with. I think that's so important, because you don't know what you like until you experience it.
It's true.
I mean, for me, it was firsthand. I thought I didn't like dance. Well, I'd never experienced dance. So once I experienced it, I was like, oh my gosh. I think it would have been really sad had I had not experienced that. You know, and I often think about that. I'm like, gosh, if I didn't work at Wharton Center and I hadn't experienced that, I wouldn't know what I'm missing out on. There's so many amazing things.
Yeah, and so when you think about, you know, Couch to 5K program or get out more and do more, you know, that should be on the list, is experiencing more, because there are so many things available in the Lansing region, you know, and the Wharton Center is one of them. So, Bob, I just want to thank you so much for joining Brandy and I today.
Yeah,
to
I love
talk
talking
about
with you guys.
Yeah, all the February shows that are coming up, and we'll have you back for what's coming up in March.
We're supposed to do a new soundtrack.
Yes.
We'll sing something new next. Motown. It'll be easy.
Yes,
I
will be.
I will be looking up my Motown music. So thank you so much,
Thank
Bob.
you.
Thank you.